What time is it? Say it's time for KP's Video News. KP's Video News. It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all.
That's right, it's KP's Video News, y'all. And I got this update here, and it's really extremely disturbing to me about this article, and it's about Jacob Blake's father says his son is handcuffed to a hospital bed, and the father of Jacob Blake, the 29-year-old black man that was shot 7 times by Kenosha, Wisconsin police, stated that his son is handcuffed to his hospital bed. I hated that he's laying in that bed with the handcuff onto the bed, Blake's father said today. The day after he visited his son in the hospital, he can't go anywhere. Why do you have him cuffed to the bed? Officials have not announced any charges against Blake, and authorities from the Kenosha Police Department, the District Attorney's Office, and the Wisconsin Department of Justice did not respond to comment or requests to find out why. Blake was shot after officers responded to a call about a domestic dispute. Blake's attorney, Ben Crump, has said that Blake was trying to de-escalate the situation before he was accosted by police. And officials identified the officer in Blake's shooting Wednesday. They did not specify if Blake was the man the officers was looking for in the first place. It's unclear how many officers were involved in Blake's shooting, but those who were are on administrative leave. Blake's shooting, which his family has said left him at least temporarily paralyzed from the waist down, has led to days of unrest in Kenosha this week and all over the country. On Tuesday night, 2 protesters were shot and killed, and another was injured. Officers later charged Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old from Illinois, with first-degree intentional homicide in connection to the shooting. And those should be federal charges since he crossed state lines. He actually crossed state lines to do that. We'll see how they charge him. Anyway, Kamala Harris came out in defense of peaceful protesters in Kenosha, condemning the looting and violence. And Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris delivered a speech Thursday afternoon where she addressed the protests over the shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Harris was delivering a so-called rebuttal convention speech later in the evening, and so we must always defend peaceful protests and peaceful protesters. We should not confuse them with those looting and committing acts of violence, including the shooter who was arrested for murder. And the Trump campaign has repeatedly misstating Biden's stances on criminal justice in this week's RNC, saying Biden is in favor of defunding the police when his plan is actually to promote more resources to departments making reforms. Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris delivered a live rebuttal Thursday afternoon to Trump's convention speech, and later that night. Speaking from Washington, D.C., Senator Harris mainly focused on the coronavirus, the economy, and the protests over police violence and systematic racism in Kenosha, Wisconsin, following the shooting of Jacob Blake. Since Blake was shot 7 times in the back and left paralyzed, protests in Wisconsin city of over 100,000 have been a major news story and are emerging as a new focus for the Trump campaign and its fake law and order mantra. Harris reiterated her running mate's assertion of support for peaceful process, coupled with the condemnation of any looting and violence. And we must always defend peaceful protests and peaceful protesters, and we should not confuse them with those looting and committing acts of violence, and including the shooter who was arrested for murder. Harris recalled other black Americans who have lost their lives to violence including Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery. People are rightfully angry and exhausted, Harris said. And after the murders of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and so many others, it's no wonder people are taking to the streets, and I support them. Harris and Biden recently spoke to the Blake family, and Harris publicly gave her sympathies to them on Thursday. My heart goes out to the Blake family as they endure an ordeal that is tragically common in our country, Harris said. Joe and I spoke with them yesterday, and they are an amazing group of people with extraordinary courage. Even as they seek justice for their son, they spoke about the need to end the violence and heal our nation. And so, I mean, that was Kamala Harris speaking out on the Jacob Blake situation in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And also, Joe Biden also came out and spoke on this particular situation. And, you know, he was, you know, trying to do what he had to do. But, you know, I was speaking with a family member last night, and Uncle Ali in Sacramento, and you know, we were talking about, you know, situations, what's going on right now. And one thing that he reminded me of, and I'm definitely going to mention it, is the fact that the majority of the time it's only two things that actually stop these things from happening. Number one is, like, you have to really get out there and you got to vote to get these officials that condone all these crazy things, that condone all this foolishness that's going on, the ones that are not trying to do anything to stop these police from shooting people. I mean, I'm talking about your mayors, your governors, and all those people on that level. You know, those people don't care. They don't care. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? You vote them out. You vote them out, get them out. You get them out, and you try to put some people in office that are going to do what they have to do to try to save your life. Not those that are just standing, sitting idly by, twiddling their thumbs, hoping that everything just disappears, and it's not going to disappear. So it's like, yeah, you have to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And the first thing I say is to try to vote these clowns out. Vote them out, and get them, you know, get them out, because they're not doing you not one bit of good, just sitting over there and doing absolutely nothing. And you know, so another thing you can do is you need to deal with the situation of finances, like dealing with your finances. If you have people, and one thing that people understand, and that's when you start cutting their money out, when you start shorting their money, and you stop buying their products, and you stop spending your hard-earned black dollars with and stop wasting your money on foolishness, then you start getting some, you know, people start paying attention. So this is another thing you can do. You can boycott and stop buying all of these products. Anybody that's out there that support foolishness and racism and stupidity, like Trump. Anybody that's supporting Trump and they own a business, don't purchase anything from those people. Don't buy any product from them. I stopped shopping at Home Depot because the guy at Home Depot had donated millions of dollars to the Trump campaign. I refuse to go there. I refuse to shop there any longer. I refuse to acknowledge the UFC, because the guy that deals with the UFC, he's another one that donates a lot of money to the Trump campaign. I'm not going to support you when I know that you are the person that are financing the person that does not support me and my people. It's just not going to happen. So this statistic, I had an article here I was trying to get up, and Biden says Trump's response to the Kenosha is pouring gasoline on the fire. We need to have a blackout days at least 5 times a month. Blackout means no shopping. Black people, no shopping. None. At least 5 times a month. Let's see what kind of results we can get. Anyway, Joe Biden responded to Trump to the unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin, saying that the administration views the chaos and violence as a politically beneficial to Trump's re-election campaign. In an interview today with Andrea Mitchell, the Democratic presidential nominee, was asked about Vice President speech at the Republican National Convention Wednesday, not specifically mentioning Pence by name, and remarked that Americans won't be safe with Joe Biden America. He said, and Joe Biden's like, the problem we have right now is that we're living in Donald Trump's America, Biden said. To quote Kellyanne Conway, she said, and I'm paraphrasing, that they're looking for more violence and more disruption because it helps them politically. He views this as a political benefit to him. He's rooting for more violence, not less, and he's clear about that. And what he's doing, he's pouring gasoline on the fire. This happens to be Donald Trump's America. It's all this stuff is happening on his watch, and he wants more and more and more of this madness to continue to happen. So, appearing on Fox News earlier, Conway, Trump's outgoing White House counselor, seemed to suggest that there's a political upside to the violence in Kenosha and elsewhere. The more chaos and anarchy and vandalism and violence reigns, the better it is for the clear choice who's on who's the best public safety and law and order, she said. In response to some of the criticism about her comments, Conway posted a fuller transcript and additional context about her remarks, showing her weighing in broadly about the looting and vandalism in Kenosha. Biden reiterated his comments in a statement released today, stating, and he said, there is no place for violence, looting, or burning. But he added, while I condemn all forms of violence, police violence, lawless violence, and violence perpetrated by extreme right-wing militia groups, like the 17-year-old just arrested in Illinois for murdering 2 people in Wisconsin is reputed to have been aligned with, Trump does not speak out against these extreme right-wing groups. Instead, as he did about Charlottesville, he embraces them. The city of Kenosha has seen several days of violence, arson, and rioting after the police shooting of Jacob Blake on Sunday. Blake was shot at least 7 times by Kenosha officer Rustin Shesky as he was opening the driver's side door of his vehicle, according to the Wisconsin Department of Justice, which is investigating the shooting. The shooting left Blake, 29, with serious injuries and paralyzed from the waist down. Shesky and all officers involved are on administrative leave. Biden has condemned the shooting and called for a claim for peaceful protest. What I saw in the video makes me sick, he said Wednesday in a video released by his campaign. Once again, a black man, Jacob Blake, has been shot by the police in broad daylight with the whole world watching. Speaking to Mitchell on Thursday, Biden brought up the Tuesday night shooting during the unrest that left 2 people dead and 1 person injured. And then you have, apparently, I don't have enough detail to make a final judgment. Looks like some of the militia folks were in there. The young man is the guy who shot 2 people. I mean, where's the condemnation coming for that? And Kyle Rittenhouse, 17-year-old of Antioch, Illinois resident, was arrested Wednesday on a homicide charge in connection with the shooting. And it's a terrible situation, man. Terrible situation. I'm going to give you some details on just how many not black people, but just how many people have been shot. And sadly, in the trend of fatal police shootings in the United States seems to be only increasing, with a total of 558 civilians having been shot, 111 who are black as of July 2018. I'm going to state this again. There has been a total of 558 people shot by police. 111 of them were black as of July 29th, 2020. So, you do the math. You know, you talk about, wow. And today is just what? August 27th. So you're talking about in a month, in less than 30 days, there have been 558 people shot by the police. Fatally shot. Wow, that's a lot of people that's been shot in a month. And 111 of them were black. Wow, that's crazy, man. Wow. So I could be reading this wrong. Maybe that's from January. That might be from January to July 29th, with a total of 558 people shot and killed by police in the United States. 111 people, 111 of them were black, and it's crazy, man. This is totally crazy. Those numbers just don't make sense. They just don't make sense. 500. I can't get over that number. 558 people shot and killed by police since January, and in the middle of a pandemic. The police in the United States have murdered 558 people, 111 of them which were black people, and they wonder why people are protesting, and they wonder why people are upset with the police department, and they talking about defunding the cops, and they wonder why. So here's another small story. I don't have really much on it, but R. Kelly reportedly attacked in jail. It said R. Kelly was reportedly attacked while he was in his cell by another inmate, and it reports that the other inmate was aggravated about the prison's lockdown as a result of the disgraced singer's protesters being outside the jail. The outlet reports that the fight didn't last long, and R. Kelly didn't suffer any injuries, and he's doing okay. And the Federal Bureau of Prisons declined to tell the outlet his medical status due to privacy and safety precautions. R. Kelly's attorney, Stephen Greenberg, declined to comment on the incident, and the Chocolate Factory singer pleaded not guilty to a 13-count federal indictment that included child pornography charges, the sexual exploitation of children, the conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government, as well as the coercion or enticement of a female. And he's locked up in a federal lockup. He got charges in about 5 different states, but he's being held, and I didn't even realize that he was being held. R. Kelly's being held in the federal prison system, and right now at this very moment. So, wow, this guy's in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble, and I don't know what to make of it. Anyway, he's reportedly he just got attacked by another inmate here today, and we'll see how that works out. We'll see how that works out. And telling you folks, it's a bunch of crazy stuff going on. But the one thing we need, oh yeah, that's right. The NBA so far, yesterday they canceled all their games yesterday. I believe they canceled all their games today, and I think they might be talking about just eliminating this bubble altogether. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they're trying to eliminate the bubble, and we'll see how that works. We'll see how that works out. Don't forget who you dealing with. You're dealing with KP Video News, y'all. KP Video News. That's right. Kind of colored my logo here, But anyway, it's a lot of crazy stuff going on, folks, and you have to be aware of your surroundings. Be totally aware of your surroundings at all times. Even if you're around the cops, you need to be totally aware of what they're doing. And anybody that's, I avoid crowds. I've been here at the house. I've been avoiding crowds altogether. But if you're out those kind of people that just Gotta go out. Avoid those crowds because you never know when some clown might decide they want to open fire and start shooting like this clown did the other night, and just open fire and just start shooting at people that were protesting. And he was from a whole nother state. That situation didn't have nothing to do with him. And he now hopefully they'll lock him up for life and he'll never get out.
What time is it? Say it's time for KP's Video News. KP's Video News.
That's right, folks.